I just like introduce myself real quick for anybody who doesn't know. I'm Fivetail. I'm a day one Genshin player. I started HSR in late 2.2 because Sunday and Maraki had a bunch of parallels and the love letter was deliberate. And I wanted to E6 Sunday. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this game, I'm gonna E6 Sunday, and I was really excited about it. But then I realized that HSR is a much more difficult game than Genshin is in a way that I wasn't quite used to. And as a new player, hard saving for an E6 character was probably not very well advised. So I quickly realized I couldn't do that. And as time went on, I learned that planning pulls in HSR is a lot more difficult than in Genshin because I've made this comparison before. It's a lot more akin to stocks, where you're trying to figure out who's the most worthwhile for long-term investment while juggling characters that you enjoy, while juggling, okay, do I vertically invest in this team? Do I invest horizontally? There's a lot of factors to consider, at least in the way that that I approach my pull sessions. So what I ended up doing is for the past few pull sessions now, I've created a little PowerPoint presentation before I do my pulls to see to help other people understand my rationale and maybe hopefully, you know, learn a thing or two about how I plan my stuff and how I've survived for this long. So I started in late 2.2 and I've consistently cleared APOC, MOC, and Pure Fiction since 2.7-ish. I was able to clear earlier than that, but I wasn't able to full clear all 3 game modes consistently until Sunday came to my account. And the only other thing you need to know about me is that literally every pull that I make is either a direct or indirect Argenti buff, because I'm an Argenti main, surprisingly. Yes, I am absolutely fellow Argenti fan, 100%. So
I remember watching the slide into Argenti like in real time. It was
in real time.
Fun.
I was convinced. I was like, you know what? I should hold off. I'm saving for Sunday. I fell in love with him immediately. I have like a little standee of his light cone on my desk because it's the most beautiful fucking artwork in this game. And like, I love him. And I love the fact that his power literally comes from Delulu. If he were to doubt himself for a second, everything would shatter apart. So the fact that he's completely delusional is what gives him power. And I think that's amazing. I think that's great. But yeah, this is the last slide we ended off with, because the last time I did a PowerPoint presentation was when I was pulling Anaxa back in May. I was debating whether or not to go for Thirda or Anaxa, and I ended up settling on Anaxa because something my account really lacked was like wind/lightning coverage. He would help with that. I have no DPS. It was just a bunch of factors that I decided that leaned more in his favor. So yeah, the plan back then in 3.2, back a couple months ago, was that I would dedicate 160 pulls to Anaxa specifically. I would go for either, because I wanted to get a copy of Phainon, and I wanted to get a copy of Saber, but I can only afford one light cone, worst case scenario, come 3.4. So I would choose, once we had more info, I would choose one light cone between the two of them. And then I think by this point the leakers already came out with the fact that Firefly was running in 3.4, I believe. So we knew that Firefly was running in 3.4, and I was like, maybe if I have extra pulls. I loved this note about, I know, because he's the new big ticket DPS, I knew some broken ass support was going to come between 3.5 and 3.7, so I was planning on that. And then 3.8, it was officially announced we're going back to Penacony. And leaker, super early leak, it's very sus, but there were whispers that Firefly's a new support for Firefly teams was going to come out in 3.8, so I'm like, I'm just keeping an eye on that. And if not, I might have some extra, because I do want E2 Firefly eventually.
Same.
Because like Firefly, E0 Firefly has not aged very well with, you know, the fall of Super Break, but E2 Firefly's doing just fine. So like, it's crazy.
I was talking to, again, Spoopy Ghost, Eric, very, very, very good friend. I yap to him every now and again, even though he doesn't play this game. I'm just like, I need you understand, like, math in video games, though. And he's like, okay, yeah. So I'm going to show you E6 Saber.
Yeah.
Like, this lets you do a billion more ults over the course of whatever. And I'm like, that's crazy, but I'm going to show you this E2, which is 15% defense ignore and, like, a little bit more scaling.
Yeah.
I then showed him Phainon E2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the big ticket E2 character of this year. And I'm like, this essentially doubles his output.
Exactly.
You want to know the first time that this happened? And I pointed at Firefly, and I'm like, look at that E6 on Firefly. That's whatever, it's cool. You want to see the stupid shit? That literally doubles her output, because that is twice as many actions, if not more.
Yeah.
Like the E2 weight on these characters was unreal.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I know I've been playing for a year, but I like to still consider myself a quote-unquote newer player, because I came in at 2.2 after the game's been out for a year, and like got once we had a good sense of like how releases worked, how meta worked, etc. From my point of view, and this is an advice I give to everybody because everyone has different priorities, everybody pulls differently, but from my point of view, the best way to pull, it seems like, is to vertically invest E2S1 in strong DPSs, and everything else goes to your supports. And I'm not a meta slave exactly. I do really like strong characters, but you know, I prefer things that spark joy. So if a character that I enjoy is coming out and a really meta character is coming out, I'm gonna pick the one I enjoy every single time, no question. But I also am a tryhard who likes clearing endgame content, so I like at least being equipped to do so. And that seems to be, like, instead of pulling a bunch of different DPS and not fully investing into them and their teams, it's better to really commit to the DPS that you're pulling and make them as strong as possible, because they age a lot better in that regard, even when the content isn't for them. So that's kind of the philosophy I kind of shifted to at this point. What else? But also, I do like keeping track, because I know my first tenet in my about section there is that spending is cringe, and that's just as a counterculture thing, because I find that in the gacha community, spending a lot of money is used as like a weird bragging point, in the same way that people brag about not getting enough sleep, you know? It's like, that's not something you should be proud of. It should be something that you resort to and don't feel forced into. So that's why I have the swiping is cringe comment there, just to have you, like, it's not something to be proud of. You should be a little bit ashamed you spent money in this fucking game. But I do like keeping track, so I did buy the big 2 anniversary packs upon refresh because of the bonus stuff that we got for getting those 2. So I spent 200 Canadian for an extra 122 pulls. So we're going into the banner with I think like 299, 300 pulls exactly, and 120 of that is from anniversary.
The other thing to add to that is the reason the anniversary swiping to me is a little less cringe.
Yeah.
They gave us one of the strongest things they possibly could, which is a never expiring selector.
Yes, that's
huge.
For
that is that is in any gacha is like, oh god.
Exactly. So when the spending event this anniversary for the 2 largest packs, which was $200 Canadian, was not only the 122 pulls because of the first time top-up bonus being refreshed, but also, as you said, an extra character selector that did not expire. So I have 2 of them right now on my account that I'm hanging on to until, you know, we get some additions that I'm really interested in. And we also got 4 light cone shards, which allowed you to pick something up from the shop, and that's where I got Fushuan's light cone from. So I'm like, okay, so it's $200, not just for 120 pulls, but also another 5-star character and a 5-star light cone. That made it a bit more worth it to me, but it is, I don't ever want to downplay how much money this is for, you know, casual players or people who don't spend money in these kinds of games. It's $200 is still a lot of fucking money, but it didn't put me out. I spend very responsibly. I don't have a lot of responsibilities. I have good savings. I'm in an okay place in life, and I can afford to do this. I also don't do the proper content creator thing and like use stuff as tax write-offs, because I feel like that would make me spend more. Because I'm like, oh, this is a tax write-off, I can just swipe for this. I don't do that deliberately to keep my spending, to rein my spending in. So this is all my money. Aside from, I'll get to it later, but a very kind Anon gifted me Honoric shards. I think it was 30 pulls worth, so I have that in my tally as well. But one thing I also wanted to add to the PowerPoint is reviews. So I wanted to review the last unit I pulled before we go into the next unit. So the last unit I pulled was E0, S1, and Axa. I don't have Thirda, so this review is coming from somebody who does not own Thirda. I find he's really comfortable He's very flexible. He's super fun to play. Because of how he works with his, I don't want to call it a weakness implant because he doesn't have the shred that like Silverwolf does, but weakness application, maybe I'll call it. I find it really fucking handy, and he slots into a lot of teams. And he performs exceptionally well even in content that's not made for him. So even if you bring him into non-wind weak content, he's really, really solid. I think he's a great pull if you're like me and you invest a lot into your supports and you don't have a lot of DPS. That was the reason I pulled him, not because he was strong, but because he was flexible and I could just throw fucking like, you can throw the majority of different Harmony units on his ass and he will perform. And that's what was important to me, even if he didn't like do as much damage as like Thurda did with her best in slot team. I would not recommend him if you have invested a lot into other DPSs already and you have a lot of built DPS teams. He's not going to add a lot to your account, in my opinion, utility-wise, so unless you really like him, I wouldn't recommend going for him in that regard. Oh, yes! I have footage. I have footage to show you because I knew what I was pulling in 3.4. I pre-farmed, and I want to show you guys real quick. I'd like to show you guys really quickly what farming has looked like for the past couple of months. It's a minute clip. It's not super long, but I did need to show this off real quick because it's so fucking funny. Let me do this here. Okay, perfect. You ready for this? You ready for this? It's so much fucking hunt material, bro. So much destruction material, I should say.
With this divine power, I reforge all things.
I only run these two because having anyone else on the team actually makes the clear slower. Because you take more time. And I also really like the fact I don't like autoing, so I like that I need to use at least a quarter of a brain cell to target properly so I can still play without taking... That's it. This is it. This is what I've... Stephen Fu's fucking Anaxa voice lines are burned into my fucking skull. And he's like, no, it's actually still my turn. Fuck you. And that's it. And that has been my fucking life for the past month. It's been crazy. But yeah, he's fun. I like him a lot. I did want to bring up that I had, if you remember the previous slide, I budgeted 160 pulls for him. So worst case scenario, I would have E0. He was really nice to me, and I was able to get E0S1 within 130 pulls. So I had 30 pulls left over, and let me get the music back on. And I made a decision. I made a decision that was ill-advised, that no one should emulate. So remember if any old hats here, this was the very, very, first slide of any presentation I've ever done showing me starting HSR because I started too late to pick up the free doctor ratio, and I started too early for Hunt March, because Hunt March didn't come until a lot later afterwards. So in this, the year of our Lord, 2025, I pulled E0S1 doctor ratio because he's funny. And I know I can't take him into endgame content. I know, but he's still fucking funny as shit. And I pulled him knowing he was gonna be a Div Uni only unit, and I don't regret it at all. So even though he didn't age super well, even though you can't really take him into endgame, I pulled him as an anti-meta pull, and now I have both scholars on my account. And it makes me happy, because he's funny. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one who noticed, but his little, in Div Uni, his little floating statue thing throws chalk at you, and the chalk cloud was broken for like several patches, and I put in a ticket and they fixed it. So anyway, I adore him. I think he's really funny, and he's super. He brings a certain value in my account in that he makes Div Uni fun. I have not cleared the majority of Div Uni content aside from the weekly stuff, just because it gets really repetitive, but Div Uni allows you to bring in stupid-ass units to do team comps that shouldn't work, and that's where I'm finding a lot of my fun with that mode. So I would not recommend this to anybody else, but I don't regret it for a moment. But moving on, this is just moving on from my old plans from 3.2 into 3.4. investing that extra 120 pulls into Dr. Ratio because I was like, if I lose a 50-50, that's fine, I'm guaranteed. If I lose a 75-25, that's fine, I'm guaranteed. I was fine with either outcome, and I just got lucky. So I was 120 pulls over budget because I pulled him. And what does that mean for my plans? That means I'm not going to be able to afford a light cone in 3.4, worst case scenario. So I was like, okay, if I do this, I'm not going to be able to get a light cone in 3.4 like I planned. Is this worth it? Sure. So that's what I did. But then we got some new information that the collaboration banner lasts past 3.4, so it's not just a one-patch thing. It's going to last until 3.6, possibly longer. We get E0 Archer for free, and S1 kind of for free if you spend 200 pulls within 3.4, which I was planning on doing anyway. And with more details we found out more breakpoints through testing and theory crafting that E1 Archer is a very good breakpoint. Phainon S1 is very good. Phainon E2 is fucking crazy. Along with, because of drip marketing, confirming that Saridra is coming in 3.5, who is, we follow leaks here, I don't mind talking about it, whose kit essentially gives a bunch of buffs and also allows a unit to use one skill twice for free. Or one skill and their skill and additional time for free, with nuances, obviously. So she's a big buff to Phainon, and leakers have said that Cyrene is coming in 3.7, which I can believe because I believe she's the next big ticket unit. And hey, remember the fucking Joucho Acheron thing where I'm like, you know, worst case scenario, they rerun 3 patches later? Guess who would be due for a rerun in 3.7? So I can definitely see them releasing Cyrene along with Phainon for, like, they just want all of your money. So those are the things that I'm looking forward to with the new information that we got. So with adjusted shit, this is what we're doing today. If I win a single coin toss between Phainon and his light cone and Saridra, I can guarantee Saber E0 before end of 3.6. We only have 300 pulls, so worst case scenario, I'm walking away today with E0 S1 Phainon and nothing else. And that's okay. Because I'd be able to pull more over time. If afterwards we have more than 75 pulls after getting all 3 of these fuckers, we're gonna push E1 Archer, because if I lose the 50-50, I can still get an additional 80 pulls to guarantee E1 Archer before end of 3.6. If I have less than 75 pulls after Phainon and his light cone, we're not touching Saber, because I want to make sure I have enough for Saridra, and then I can plan how my pulls are going to be weighted after I pull Saridra, because I know I want her, but I can still guarantee E0 Saber before before end of 3.6, unless Saridra is also really mean to me. Then absolute worst case scenario, I might have to skip E0 Saber, which is why I'm not putting any pulls into her, if that's all we can pull for today. And oh yeah, Saridra is also really fucking good for Anaxa because of the skill thing. Some showcases have shown like him going 4 times in a row, and I'm like, what? But yeah. Yeah, E0 Archer for free was huge for pull planning. It was mass. I wasn't planning on going for Archer at all. I'm like, hey, he looks really cool, but I don't have the budget for it. If they're only doing this if they're only doing this collab for 1 patch, I'm not super attached to the Fate series. I haven't played it. I just really like Sword Lady. I'm like, she's really fucking cool. I want to pick up 1 copy of her. But yeah, giving away Archer was fucking huge. I was not expecting them to do that. But yeah, this is the current pull plans here. E0 Saridra, I do want. She's going to be second half 3.5. Gives me a bit more time. I'm putting away pulls expecting to go for E0 Cyrene, but it really depends on what she does. We don't know what she does yet. There have been rumors that she deploys a territory, in which case she would not actually work with Phainon at all, unless it worked really weird. So anyway, just waiting for more details on that. Otherwise, if Phainon reruns, I might invest into him. But as of when 3.7 starts, 3.8 beta will be out, and we'll know exactly which characters will be released in 3.8, if any, and if there is a Firefly support, how much they bring to her team, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's about it. Long story short, Phainon into Light Cone. If we have more than 75 pulls, we go into Saber. If we don't, we just hold. And that's it. That's what we're doing today.